So I wanted to talk a little bit about being a mom and self-reg, in particular, I guess, in the biological domain, but also the prosocial domain, and parenting for my daughter, and really in the relation to growing up with a healthy body image. And it's not just healthy body image. I want her to grow up with healthy thoughts around food and thinking of food as nutrition and celebrating, really feeling connected to her body, not as it's something separate from who she is. And this goes more beyond the images in the news, and magazines and on TV, and to really thinking about health and well-being. And so I just wanted to tell you a little bit about some of the things that I do and have done and actively do as best as I possibly can, and then in turn ask you your thoughts and what some of the strategies are that you're using with your own. I'm focusing on my daughter here, but if it's your children as well. So first of all, for a little bit of a background, I although feel very healthy and I'm very comfortable with my weight right now, I have also gone up and down in my weight, and it's been really since I think about my teenage years. It's been I can look at it through the lens of stress. I was, I guess, started thinking about it in my teenage years, and then when I moved away to first time as a young adult at 18, put on a whole lot of weight, like, I don't know, 40 pounds, which was a lot, right? And I'd been very thin in the younger years. And so since then, it's been on and off, and I took it back off again, and then I got, fairly healthy when I moved to Italy. God love Italy because Italy taught me to celebrate food again and connect with food, and that eating, was not enemy. And I don't know, just there was something very healthy for me around being in Italy. But it's gone up and down, and it's still to this day. I know that I'm a stress eater, and I know that my relationship with food is at times a problem and not healthy. And like right now, it feels very good. And I've learned my sort of strategies around my body, and understanding self-reg has helped a lot. If you're interested in this, read Stuart's blog on obesity. Even if obesity isn't your issue, relationships with food are. It will totally make you look at it in a different way. So no longer about self-control, but really about understanding regulation beneath. So to get back to my daughter, what I wanted to make sure, and I have always done, is that I did not pass on to her too much in my head thinking about my body, physical body, and what I looked like, or my weight, or these sorts of my eating, and all of these things. And it was a conscious decision that I've made, and I've done it pretty consistently. If you were to ask my daughter, I don't think you would actually hear her say that I've ever thought I was fat. And even though I had moments that I did, and still do, I still have those days like everyone else. But I constantly try to give her that messaging that you love your body, and your magic body, and eating was nutrition, and love her body, and and it's still rubbed off on her little things. She'll every now and then she comes home and she tells me, look, she's got a little belly, and she doesn't at all. And it's come from school or something she's seen on TV, and it's a challenge that we have to do. But I think part of it is recognizing that, the little messages that I heard as a kid, and done lovingly, about how I looked or didn't look, they rubbed off on me, and they had this impact on my life in a way that affected my relationship with food and my relationship with myself. And I've tried to shift that with her. So again, I'm interested in what you do. What I do is whenever I hear her say anything about, and she has, sometimes she'll say someone have been fat, or she had a friend that had a real weight problem. I encourage, we just don't use that word, and we love our magic body, and it takes care of us in different ways. I really try to encourage her to think about food as fuel. And if you asked her, like, I get a lot of healthy food into her, but I can't control it as much as I thought I could before I had kids. You think you're never going to give them this and that, and that just wasn't reality. But I try to really encourage that. I try to not just teach that self-control sort of thing, because it just doesn't work. I try to teach her about, we read food labels, we look at that. And and one of the big ones is if you are hungry, you eat, right? And I think that's a mistake we make sometimes with teaching kids that it's only at certain times, because then they don't learn to trust the signals in their body, and they don't even know when they're hungry, when they're full, when they're thirsty. So if you are hungry, you eat, right? And so but that's interoception, and it begins to understand what's going on in the body. So it's a hard time for young girls in particular, right? This messaging, and I'm really excited about the strong is the new is the new pretty kind of messaging that's coming out to especially our girls, and that how they feel about themselves and their body, and it should be positive. And what can we do to nurture that? And where do we have to work on our own, those own little voices in our own heads from how we were brought up, and the things that we noticed in our society? So what are some of the things that you do? What are your thoughts around this? And what are your ideas on how we really nurture really healthy, young, strong, unique girls as they grow into their teenage years and on to be the next set of young moms and young leaders in our world? So what are some of your ideas? Thank you.